He's an old head on young shoulders. So if he's not fit, then it is a massive blow for Barca and a massive boost for Inter.
Looks like Fermin Lopez will be warming up and probably starting for Barcelona tonight. As I say, we will look to confirmation for that in a few moments' time. What it means, though, Scott, is that with Robert Lewandowski out, with Lamine Yamal possibly missing as well, the responsibility on the shoulders of Rafinha tonight is absolutely huge. Can he handle it?
Yes, I think he can. I think he's one of those players where his numbers are good in terms of he's scored 30 goals in all competitions this season. He's probably missed about 60 really good chances. So he is one of those that certainly misses a lot of opportunities, but he gets himself into that position again. And I think, I'm sure that Hansi Flick, if that is the case, two of the front three out, first choice, it just put his arm around him and say, we need you more than ever. You can step up. And look, he's done that. He's a leader now. I think Hansi Flick has been superb in terms of his man management amongst many of these players, because it's not that much of a different squad at all from under Xavi, and look what they're on the verge of. And Rafinha is one of those players who he's absolutely loved playing for and playing under as well. So I'm sure he'll tap him on the shoulder, say, I need you more than ever. Go out there and do the business. He's certainly been doing that for sure.
We've heard about Barcelona's tactics, the high line that they will employ tonight. Tonight's Simone Inzaghi's 50th Champions League game. He's, of course, been a runner-up with Inter Milan against Manchester City not too long ago. 9 games they've gone without a clean sheet, but they have kept the most clean sheets in all competitions across Europe's top 5 leagues this season. Their goalkeeper Jan Sommer keeping the most clean sheets of any goalkeeper. What makes this Inter side so resilient?
Well, they're not the most resilient right now. You talk about the whole season, and that's fine, but I'm very much into form. And the form for Inter isn't particularly great at all in terms of keeping clean sheets and even winning games. They haven't scored a goal in the last 3 games and they've lost all 3. They haven't done that since, I think it's 2012. It's just amazing. So what they have to do is this 3-5-2 formation, they have to make sure that Di Marco and Dumfries, who are fantastic athletes, but they're absolutely there to defend as well as get forward if they possibly can. In this wing back, I've played that. Hugh, let me tell you, it's taken a couple of years off my career playing wing back, but these 2 athletes are able to handle it. And then the 3, of course, the 3 centre halves with Jan Sommer in goal, who arguably is one, and very much, certainly over here anyway, is not talked about in terms of one of the best goalkeepers in the world. He's very good with his feet. He's one of the very best with his feet as well. So it's a difficult, back sort of 4. If you think about the 3, then the goalkeeper, especially if they're on that kind of mindset of we just keep a clean sheet tonight. And I do kind of feel that that's the way it's going to be. So if they can counter, they can't just sit back the whole time, but if they can counter every now and again while defending well, then maybe they've just got half a chance. But I do fancy Barca to score despite 2 of their front 3 first choice being out.
We'll be back to Barcelona very, very soon, where we can see Lamine Yamal very sheepishly rubbing his groin thigh area. Looks in a lot of discomfort. No confirmation as to whether he will start this evening as yet. Let's head to Villa Park, where the WSL title race may be taking its decisive turn tonight. Adam Bridge, full-time whistle has gone.
It has, Hugh, and it could well, because Aston Villa have ripped up the script tonight. They've beaten Arsenal by 5-2 at Villa Park. The euphoria of that victory in Lyon on Sunday and that place in the Champions League final. Boy, this is some crash down tonight. It means Chelsea only need a point against Manchester United when they get underway in about 20 minutes time or so to collect their 8th WSL title. Aston Villa were 2 up at the break. Goals from Nobbs and Hansen in the first half. Hansen's is an absolute beauty as well. Straight at the start of the second half, Grant got her first of the night, and Daly then made it 4-0 before Arsenal struck back through Black, Stenius and Russo with her 12th WSL goal of the season. But Grant added a second to steady the nerves of Aston Villa, who've become the first WSL side to lose 5 or more games in a row in a season and then win 3 or more games in a row in a season. It's a funny old campaign for them. They languish near the bottom of the table, but they've plunged the knife tonight into Arsenal's hopes of winning this WSL. It's over to Chelsea now, because it's finished here at Villa Park. Aston Villa 5, Arsenal 2.
Chelsea taking on Manchester United. We will have updates of that kicking off at 8:15. We can see Lamine Yamal, Scott Minto, is coming out of the tunnel in Spain, but there have been some deep conversations in that tunnel. If I'm Hansi Flick, why risk him? He's 17 years old. He could be so important to lifting a quadruple this season. It's the first of 2 legs. Would you be risking him?
Well, look, I mean, they obviously know more than we do, but I couldn't agree with you more. This is a kid who can still, whatever happens tonight, will still be good enough if he's fit next week to take them through to the Champions League final. And you know, if it is his groin, it looked like it was. If he suddenly pulls it and he's out for 6 weeks, then the season's finished. So there's no doubt about it. It's a big gamble, but they obviously know more than us and need to be careful.
A big banner in northeastern Spain reads, "Our mission to the final." It's got Barcelona's 5 previous European Cup triumphs, and it just has an empty silhouette for number 6. We'll see if they can take a big step towards reaching the final in Munich as they take on Inter Milan tonight. This game brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Remember, a triple header of Europa and Premier League football comes your way tomorrow night. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United here on TalkSport. Spurs against Bodo Glimt on Talk Radio and the TalkSport app. And we'll have Nottingham Forest against Brentford on TalkSport 2. Friday night here on TalkSport, Manchester City hosts Wolves. Well, let's see if Inter Milan can give themselves a huge boost after their domestic league and cup aspirations were severely damaged, or if the free-scoring Barcelona team, led by Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, can keep up their pursuit of a remarkable quadruple. Barcelona versus Inter Milan at the Estadio Olympique Luis Companys, with the Chelsea FA Cup winner Scott Minto and TalkSport's Joe Shannon.
Yes, it is a spectacular setting here south of the city centre with the floodlights on and the skies darkening now. A classic UEFA Champions League semi-final first leg. Barcelona against Inter Milan. 15 years on, of course, from the last time these two met in the semi-finals, when it was Mourinho against Guardiola. We had Inter winning the first leg 3-1 at the San Siro. Then they produced a defensive masterclass in the second leg to see it out 3-2 on aggregate. Mourinho running onto the pitch with one finger up into the air. That was what it meant then. It means just as much now for the class of 2025. The road to Munich and the final at the Allianz Arena at the end of May could get a little shorter for one of these two sides tonight. A first leg advantage, you feel, always key. These are the two teams. Szczesny in goal for Barcelona, Koundé, Kubasi, Martinez and Martin, De Jong and Pedri, Yamal, who is out there despite real concerns in the warm-up, Dani Olmo and Rafinha. 30 goals this season behind Ferran Torres up front. And for Inter, Jan Sommer in goal. Will break off momentarily, a moment of silence for Pope Francis.
Le squadre esprimono il loro cordoglio per la morte del Papa Francesco, un uomo di giustizia e di pace. Vi chiediamo di osservare un rispettoso silenzio in sua memoria. Riposi in pace.
A tribute here in Barcelona for Pope Francis. Let us bring you the Inter Milan team. Sommer in goal, Bisek, Acerbi and Bastoni the defenders, Dumfries and DiMarco the wing-backs, Barella, Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan behind Lautaro Martinez and Marcus Thuram up front. This is the start of the last four tie for the right to face either Arsenal or PSG in the Champions League final. It is Barcelona against Inter Milan. It is a mouth-watering prospect, and it is live and in full here on TalkSport. Inter will get us underway in the change kit tonight. As you'd expect, it's all white with royal blue trim, playing from right to left in the first half, and Barcelona in the familiar colours, dark red and dark blue, with dark shorts and socks, playing from left to right here at the Olympic Stadium. Quite a thunderous atmosphere despite the big gap between the pitch and the stands, and Inter on the attack straight away down the right with Denzel Dumfries, low ball into the penalty area, and it's cleared away at the back post by Jules Koundé before the other wing back DiMarco could get there. Dumfries with a cross, Thuram! He's flicked it in inside 31 seconds. What a start for Inter! What a statement! Less than a minute into the semi-final first leg, and what a finish from Marcus Thuram An outrageous, impudent flick inside of his foot, beyond the outstretched dive of Wojciech Szczesny, and Barcelona are shocked in the very early stages by a superb finish. After all of the early build-up play, Barcelona could not clear effectively enough. Dumfries delivered again, and Thuram's flick finish is outrageous. Even at this level of football, it's a magnificent goal. What a start to the semi-final. I made it 31 seconds. Barcelona 0, Inter Milan 1.
Well, anything PSG can do, Inter can do just as well. Can they see this game out with, 89 minutes plus injury time to go? What a scoreline that would be. But what a start. You could see the high press coming from Barca, the high line they had as well, which was being exploited. Two opportunities to get it away, and Inigo Martinez just slips. But that was a wonderful finish, and we talked about how important it is for Inter that Marcus Thuram is in the side. How not only is he a quality technical player, but he's very athletic, happy to go in behind. But that was a wonderful finish, it really was. What a start.
And it must be one of the earliest goals ever in a Champions League semi-final. And here in the first leg, Inter lead by 1-0 already. 3 times the champions of Europe up against a Barcelona team at this stage of the competition. Barca for the first time since 2018-19, when they were knocked out in spectacular fashion by Liverpool. Here is Yamal, inside right channel, taking on Bastoni, looking to drift infield. Good work by Henrik Mkhitaryan, very experienced, the 36-year-old, to whip it out of play. How is Yamal moving in the early stages, Scott Minter?
He's okay. He's certainly that cross-field ball was able to bring it down. The first touch wasn't brilliant, but he's still looking lively. I mean, he's certainly not limping. If he was, he should be coming off straight away.
The first minute lead for Inter Milan, live on Talk Sport. Barcelona 3 minutes in, have the ball with Frenkie de Jong. Of course, such a long way to go in the time. Yamal from the corner of the penalty area sees his left-footed shot blocked. They have a lead to defend now, Inter, as Yamal drifts the ball into the back post. It's brilliantly played, headed away by Jan Bissek. And they just about got away with it there, Inter. A reputation this season for keeping clean sheets, but they haven't kept one in their last 9 matches in all competitions coming into tonight. And you saw there the quality of the 17-year-old Yamal as Barcelona come forward again inside the penalty area. Bissek makes a lunging challenge on Dani Olmo, and Inter leading 1-0, clear up to the halfway line. What a 4 minutes, Scott Minter.
Incredible. Let's hope it lasts as long as possible. I mean, it was brilliant play from Yamal. You don't always have to take on your fullback, and he had 2 people around, but he just came inside on his left foot, whipped a wonderful ball towards the far post. Jan Sommer couldn't get anywhere near it, and you do feel that if Lewandowski was on the pitch, then maybe he would have got on the end of it.
Ferran Torres looking to burst into the penalty area now. Across came the defender, Acerbi, who steers it behind, and Barcelona responded very well to conceding that first minute goal. The following 3 minutes have been dominated by the Spanish side as they seek an early equaliser very early on in the first leg.
Oh, the intensity of this game is just incredible. I can't believe they can keep this up for the full 90 minutes, but if it is, it should open up in the second half.
Rafinha's delivery poor, headed away by Mkhitaryan at the near post. 21 assists in all competitions this season for the former Leeds man Rafinha, to go with his 30 goals. Lewandowski, who is on 40 but was expected to be out tonight, and so that has proven to be the case. Fouled by Di Marco on the near side of the field on Rafinha, and a free kick to Barcelona midway inside their own half of the field. Well, an unbelievable start to this game. If you're just joining us live on Talk Sport, it's Inter who already lead by 1-0. Marcus Thuram with a deft and magnificent flick from Denzel Dumfries' cross to give the Italian team the lead inside 31-32 seconds. Frenkie de Jong for Barcelona, who've dominated since then, looking to thread the ball into the penalty area towards the run of Pedri. Back out to the right wing position, and Yamal, who dribbles towards the near side touchline, taking on Di Marco and Mkhitaryan. They're trying to double up on him already. De Jong on the edge of the D. Good footwork to steer it square. Inigo Martinez will roll it wide to the left-hand side. Martin hooks in the cross up towards Ferran Torres. Bastoni got his head onto it, And then a risky challenge from Calhanoglu inside the penalty area on De Jong. All eyes on the referee, and the Barcelona fans not happy. They felt that should have been a penalty kick.
Never a pen. Both players going for it. And it's not as if he properly catches him. So no, it's one of those where you can't give a penalty for that. You can't. But you said about Inter doubling them up on Lamine Yamal. They're trebling up.
They are. You're right.
It's just incredible. He's twinkle toes, and the way he can, with his dancing feet, just manoeuvre the ball and manipulate it. He's just got to try and think, well, if I've got 3 players on me, then there must be space elsewhere.
Barcelona camped inside the Inter Milan half since conceding that first-minute goal. Martin, the left full-back with the yellow boots on, back towards the forward portion of the centre circle, and Pau Kubasi works wide by De Jong to Yamal, who darts infield, threads the ball to the left edge of the penalty area, and it's flicked in by Rafinha deep towards Yamal, who continued his run, but that's too close to Jan Sommer, all in bright yellow, who plucks the ball high out of the air, the goalkeeper. 20 clean sheets he's kept this season, the most of any goalkeeper in Europe's so-called top-flight leagues, and they'll need him again tonight. Into 1-0 they lead 7 minutes in, but already they look vulnerable to the Barcelona attack here. Live on Talk Sport, in a game that is brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. Here's the former Benfica defender, Scott Minter.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it, how despite Barcelona, we know, have that high press and extremely high line, Inter are still quite happy to try and play the ball out from the back. I just about to say that if a team is pressing really well and you don't feel 100% comfortable, then just think it over the top and beat the press, and that's actually what Jan Sommer needed to do. So it's really important from Inter's point of view, from their defenders, to not just try and play out the back, but if it's not on, have a look, because there must be space in behind if Barcelona are committing players forward.
A clever backheel by Bastoni to find Mkhitaryan, and it's scooped long by DiMarco up towards the halfway line. Very heavy touch stretching in midfield from Barella, but he's managed to poke it wide to Denzel Dumfries, who just loves to surge forward, not beyond Martin this time, who will send it back to goalkeeper Wojciech Szczesny, who came out of retirement earlier this season after the long-term injury to Marc-Andre Ter Stegen. In the end, it's a backheader from Acerbi to his goalkeeper Sommer, and easier said than done, but they do well to try and slow the game down here into 8.5 minutes into the first leg on Talk Sport. 1-0 up, but they've been under siege since then. Terrible clearance by Sommer, straight to De Jong, and a great dummy by Yamal, who raised down the inside right, got the wrong side of Bastoni momentarily, but I thought the challenge from the defender, Scott, was firm but fair.
Oh, absolutely. It was a really good, he got his body there, and it was a man against the boy, just a little shoulder, nothing more than that. It wasn't a foul. And obviously the atmosphere is just incredible, and any time a Barcelona player goes down, they're claiming a free kick or a penalty, but actually that was Bastoni after what was a really good little dummy from Yamal, just defending really, really well. He's going to have to do that for the whole of the 90 minutes.
And now Dani Olmo has clipped the heels of the scorer Marcus Thuram, and that'll be a free kick to Inter midway inside their own half the field. Aston Villa 5, Arsenal 2. A full-time score from the WSL earlier. Chelsea, no, they only need a point to clinch another WSL title. They're away at Manchester United and underway in about 5 minutes' time. League One latest scores, both 7:45 kickoffs. Blackpool 0, Birmingham 0. Birmingham looking to pass the EFL points record tonight. They're on 105. The record is Reading's 106 in the 05-06 championship season. Goalless at Blackpool, and Mansfield 2, Peterborough 0 is an early score in League One, and you're up to date. 10 minutes played in the first leg of the semi-final, and it's 1-0 to Inter Milan. Barella with his back to goal, shepherds the ball backwards to Calhanoglu, and now just forward of the centre circle, Alessandro Bastoni, bright yellow boots on, threads the ball wide to DiMarco with the dyed hair, and he gets the return ball from Mkhitaryan deep inside Barcelona territory. Good football from Inter. Bastoni on the underlap with a looping cross. Thuram at the back post, couldn't get underneath it. Hesitancy in the Barca back line again. Barella steers it back to Calhanoglu, who digs it over the top towards Lisandro Martinez, and a flying punch away by the goalkeeper, hit by Mkhitaryan, and the touch just wide from Lisandro Martinez, but he was definitely in an offside position, and the way he walked away, I think he knew it, Scott.
Only by about 5 yards. But I'll tell you what, it's interesting, isn't it? It was a great ball in from Calhanoglu, who, if it had just been a little bit shorter, then Martinez would have been in. Szczesny does really well coming out and punching, but it stays really interesting because DiMarco, left wing back, was really high and wide, and then Bastoni, as that left centre half, was sort of on just outside the 18-yard box, a little bit wider, but level with it. So you've got your left side centre half almost playing like a left midfielder, left winger, whipping a ball in. So they're happy to get forward when they can.
Yamal infield from the right for Barcelona, lovely ball into the penalty area, and Ferran Torres drags a low shot just wide of the far post. Scored in the Copa del Rey final on Saturday, and he should have brought Barcelona level here.
Yeah, again, it's Yamal, isn't it? And he's not quite 100% with a little groin niggle. Imagine if he was 100%. I think we've seen how good he can be, but brilliant play. And yes, it's just the first touch wasn't quite good, and he tried to whip it around a couple of defenders. So in a way, it was good positioning from the defenders.
Robert Lewandowski among those watching on tonight. Whatever happens tonight, you can have your say on the Sports Bar from 10 03717 22 3344. And you best download our free TalkSport app, where you can also watch live shows as they go out on the station as well, ahead of a massive day of football tomorrow. The Europa League on TalkSport, Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United. That'll be our 400th live commentary of this season. Tottenham against Bodo Glimt, equally big game, is live only on the app with us. And in the Premier League tomorrow evening at 7:30, a huge game for Nottingham Forest in the race for the Champions League next season at home to Brentford. That's on TalkSport 2, and lots more to come this weekend as well. Again, make sure you download our app just to be across everything. Barcelona 0, Inter Milan 1. Foul on the halfway line at Cherby on Dani Olmo, and Barcelona shuffled the ball wide to Yamal on the near side of the field. The thought pre-match was that he might have a groin problem. Doesn't seem to be struggling at all after that scare for Barcelona in the warm-up. The 17-year-old on his 100th appearance for the club. Inigo Martinez, about 10 yards shy of the halfway line. Ball to Martin in the left-back area. Early threaded pass down the inside left, and Bissek loses his footing, running onto it is Rafinha to pull it back to the edge of the box. Mkhitaryan is there to sweep it out and play for a Barcelona throw.
Yeah, it's a slip from Bissek there, wasn't it? His positioning that was actually really good. And by that slip, it meant Rafinha got in, and he seemed to slip as well as he crossed the ball in. So I'm sure they watered the pitch very, very well. I just want to make sure they can stay on their feet.
It's been a nice, warm and sunny day in Barcelona in the build-up, about 17-18 degrees now. Half interception by Çalhanoğlu in the middle of midfield. It's dropped to Dumfries in the right-back area. Shrugged aside the challenge of Martin, who went down appealing to the referee as though to say, I was caught by a floating arm. And actually, he has given the free kick here to Barcelona in the end. Clement Turpin, after a very long delay, and there was absolutely minimal contact.
Now listen, he caught him in the face, but it's just a general kind of push away. And, you know, he's bending down Martins. And for me, that's not a foul. That's just a way of a player trying to get away from another one. And Martins bought that.
Yeah, nothing in that, I thought, Scott. Maybe the course of an outcome, but what a prospect we have here already.
You wouldn't have gone down there, would you, Gary?
No chance, no chance.
Mind you, for the goal off the back of it.
Free kick to Barcelona, midway inside into territory, 10 yards infield. It's going to be floated into the area by Rafinha. High to the back post, looked over here, punched away nonetheless by Sommer. The Inter goalkeeper, vastly experienced. Floated back in by Yamal to the edge of the box, and that is a thumping header cleared by the Inter captain, Lautaro Martinez, their all-time top scorer in the European Cup. The final in Munich at the very end of May against either Arsenal or PSG. The second leg of which will be live on TalkSport next Wednesday. Clearance away by Thuram. He's giving it straight to Pedri though for Barcelona, who win it back. Koundé scored the winner in the Copa del Rey final at the weekend. Back to Kubasi. And for a team that went 1-0 down before a ball had barely been kicked, they responded incredibly well, Barcelona.
Yeah, and look, you know, we talked about sort of Arsenal and PSG. PSG scored the early goal and then dominated the game and possession and the tempo of it and quieting the crowd. Barcelona have done really well since conceding.
Dani Olmo's ball down the middle, hacked away by Dumfries from the edge of the box. It's a Barcelona throw, right wing position. Inter Milan in front by that very early goal to nil. But it's been all Barcelona since then. Inter reverting to type to some extent. As I say, their clean sheet record of late has not been good, but 24 in all competitions this season is the best of any side in the top 5 leagues in Europe. Pedri then operate for Barcelona. It's attack via defence at the moment. Martinez angled balls to the left, and the fullback Gerard Martin. Now Kovacic to the feet of Koundé. Even the back four are playing as midfielders here. Dimarco makes a half challenge on Yamal. Barca quick to win it back. Yamal, ball sticks to his feet like glue. Looking to maraud down the right hand side, chopping back in field onto his left. Good close control by Dani Olmo. Overhit return ball towards him by Pedri, who went down expecting the free kick. Doesn't get it from the French referee, and the ball has gone out of play before Koundé could keep the attack going. And that's an into throw in their left wing back position on the near side. I think for the neutral Scot, it's really well set up this, because Inter have got the early goal. They're clearly going to try and sit on what they have. Can Barcelona break them down in this first leg?
And I think that was the plan anyway, but obviously they sort of knocked it long and found their way to get into Barcelona's final third. They got the cross in, and it was a wonderful finish. But it is defence via attack. You just mentioned it. I thought it would be at the start of the game. Probably even going to be even more so now they've gone a goal up. It is down to Barcelona to break this dogged side down that we talked about. Had lost all 3 games in all competitions. Looked tired mentally, physically. Hadn't scored. But actually, there's only been 1 shot on target in the game so far, and that's come from Inter. So Barcelona need to test Jan Sommer.
Marcus Thuram with the only goal of the semi-final so far. Inter, who were finalists, of course, as recently as 2023, beaten by Manchester City. Second Champions League semi-final in the space of 3 years. Barcelona 1-0 down. They continue to dominate possession and territory though. Yamal right edge of the area, trying to go in between Mkhitaryan and Dimarco this time. And the referee, after the challenge from the former Manchester United man, signals that it is a Barcelona corner as Hansi Flick, the head coach, watches on in his tracksuit top on the near side touchline.
Yeah, do you know what? Mkhitaryan is absolutely crucial to this game, and by that I mean coming to help Dimarco.
Rafinha's corner, good header away at the back post. What a thumping header clear that was by Bissek. Brilliant under pressure from Inigo Martinez, and I think it was a clash of heads. So Bissek, the German, has gone down. A replacement in this game because of the injury to Benjamin Pavard, and it's brave defending at the far post.
Yeah, it is, but it's what you want from your centre half for sure. And Martinez comes in the back of him, but he's okay, he's up.
Another corner to Barcelona, this time from the opposite side, the right, floated into the near post, headed away by Bissek again. And in the half volley just wide by Ferran Torres. That's the second time he's gone close. It'll be interesting to see that again on the monitor in our commentary position, because that looked like it might only be inches wide.
Well, Jan Sommer didn't move. I don't think he saw it at all. And it was curling away from goal rather than hitting it straight. It's almost at the outside of his foot, which it was curling away from the goal. But Jan Sommer was beaten. He didn't move at all, and he's looked to his left, just hoping it's gone the other side of the post.
That's twice now for the former Manchester City man. So close to putting Barcelona back on level terms. It's now Mansfield 3, Peterborough United 0 in League One, and they're underway in the WSL at Manchester United. United 0, Chelsea 0. Chelsea only need a point to win the title. Quick throw, Bastoni for Inter down the inside left. Good work coming across by Inigo Martinez to flick it away in front of the on-rushing Dimarco, who is always an enigmatic character. Millan born, knows what it means. And Inter have their first corner on the near side of the field. They lead by a goal to 0. 20 minutes in.
Yeah, when they can, they will get forward. Just that they're not able to really. They're on the back foot the whole time. Fair play to Dimarco. As soon as he realised he went out, he tried to carry on running rather than just get back in place. So clearly the orders are that defend when you have to, but if you have that possibility of getting forward, do it.
It's going to be Dimarco to the left-footed and out-swinging, high towards the penalty spot, flicked on, and Dumfries is there to volley it in! It is 2 for Inter Milan! Denzel Dumfries slides on his knees in celebration, hugs on the bench, and in the away section they are delirious because Dumfries has thundered home a close-range volley. 2 efforts on target, 2 goals for Inter. Are they taking the semi-final away from Barcelona already? Do they have 1 foot in Munich? Just 21 minutes into to the first leg. It's Barcelona 0, Inter Milan 2.
Wow, my goodness me, I did not see this coming. And I'll tell you what, Denzel Dumfries, he did a volley there like Marco van Basten at his best. Great technique. I mean, from a defensive point of view, it's so disappointing. It's a corner that's been put in. It's a Cherby who's won it. There's 2 or 3 Barcelona defenders that he's got in top of, and you can't have that. He's won the ball, but still, for Dumfries to be where he is, the technique to swivel and volley, 6 yards out, giving Szczesny no chance whatsoever. This is an absolute dream start for Inter fans, an absolute nightmare for Barcelona.
And on the touchline, Simone Inzaghi in his overcoat, punching the air with glee. 2-0 to Inter. And they've had 2 attacks, and in between, it's been total dominance for Barcelona in terms of possession and territory, but they mean nothing. They mean 0 if you don't do anything with it, and Inter have been utterly clinical.
Yeah, I mean, the stats are really interesting because both teams have had 3 attempts at goal. Barcelona haven't had 1 shot on target yet. And Inter, you can say, have been absolutely clinical, but they're the only team so far that's actually had a shot on target.
Dumfries with a long throw towards the dead ball line. It's going to trickle out to play, and a goal kick to Barcelona. And Wojciech Szczesny, well, it's an amazing situation here unfolding at the Olympic Stadium, and the Barcelona fans look like they are dumbfounded and can barely believe it. They're in a very difficult position in the tie-out, of course, Scott, because they surely can't afford to concede a 3rd goal even this early on in the last 4.
Well, it's incredible that we're talking about that, but yes, absolutely, 3-0, I don't see even them coming back, but I do think this particular game, let alone the tie, is far from over.
Yeah, now 35 yards out, prods the ball into the box, takes a big looping deflection off Bastoni, and Sommer is there to grab it out of the sky and cushion it into his chest. They've scored plenty this season, Barcelona, 155 in all competitions, 37 in the Champions League. And we haven't seen the last of them, I'm sure, just yet. But Inter could hardly have enjoyed a better first quarter of the first leg. 2-0 in front. Jules Koundé on the ball for Barcelona midway into opposition territory. Quick square ball infield to Pedri. Nudges it to the right corner of the penalty area. Yamal. Pedri was caught. Referee plays the advantage. Not sure how much of an advantage there is to be gained there for Barcelona, but they've got it out on their inside left. Ball stuck back in field to Ferran Torres, and now inside to De Jong, middle of the Inter half, works it wide on the right hand channel towards Yamal, but Inter have got everybody in that all-white change kit behind the ball. Yamal with a dancing footwork into the penalty area, cutting shot, magnificent! Oh yes, he is something special. He weaved his way beyond Mkhitaryan and planted the ball into the left corner, in off the post. A century of Barcelona appearances for the 17-year-old, and a marvellous goal to match. He is pure magic. Barcelona 1, Inter Milan 2. A special goal from a special talent.
This kid is just incredible. He's almost impossible to play against. You can't keep him quiet for the full 90 minutes. Talking about him not just being doubled up, but tripled up as well. And the way he was running, I mean, how many times have we seen that down the years by a certain somebody else? On the right-hand side, cutting in on his left foot, jinking his way past 2-3 defenders, looking like there's no way he's going to get a shot off, and yet somehow does, giving the goalkeeper no chance whatsoever, in off the post. I said there'll be more goals in this game. I still think there will be, but from Barcelona's point of view, Joe, that was really important to bounce back quickly after going not 1 but 2-0 down.
Well, there you have it. That's what he can do. Lamine Yamal with his 5th goal of this Champions League campaign so far this season, and we should no longer be surprised. We've seen him score goals like that at top level for club and for country. Remember the Euros last summer, and it's Barcelona 1, Inter Milan 2 in a first leg that is already developing into what feels like could be a classic here on TalkSport.
Yeah, and we've got a second leg to come as well. My goodness me. You know, Inter have superseded what they believe, but Barcelona, if they're able to keep this intensity up, and we talked about Inter looking tired, Barca, at times they weren't particularly great in the Copa del Rey at the weekend, but they're so good and they are physically very, very fit.
Yeah, goes on the outside of DiMarco. What can he produce from the dead ball line? Oh, he's hit the woodwork! He nearly did it again! From an impossible angle, he skinned DiMarco, and then from the dead ball line, he's hammered it left-footed, and it's come back off the woodwork. Is there anything that this kid cannot do? Maybe Sommer got fingertips to it, but that was so nearly a second extraordinary goal in a matter of minutes.
Well, DiMarco needs to buy a ticket to get back in the stadium, because I'm telling you now, he's cut one way, he's cut another, you think he's going to cross it, we all think he's going to cross it, and somehow he still finds a way to come back inside. DiMarco's off the pitch. I do think he's got the slightest of touches, Jan Sommer. That could end up being a crucial save, but do you know what? If I'm Jules Koundé, if I'm any Barcelona player right now, I'm saying get that ball to Lamine Yamal every possible time.
He is absolutely electric, and Inter cannot deal with Yamal at the moment. There was so much talk about Lewandowski's unavailability in the build-up, and then a lot of talk about Yamal himself. He was in the press conference yesterday. Remember, he said, "I haven't felt any fear since I was a little kid playing in the park." It almost feels like he's playing in the park at the moment. He's just weaving past people and creating opportunities at will.
Well, look, he's still at that age where he's not thinking. It's not always good to think, just do. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's playing off pure instincts, and that's another thing that Hansi Flick has done superb well. Obviously, we know the class player he is, but he's creating that kind of playground atmosphere for him to go and do his stuff.
2-1 to Inter Milan in the 28th minute, live on TalkSport, with massive games coming up tomorrow across our stations and on the app as well, our free app, where you can watch live shows and listen to the commentaries. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United tomorrow night on TalkSport, Spurs against Bodo Glimt only on the app, and Forest against Brentford in the Premier League on TalkSport 2 tomorrow. Lots to come this weekend as well. Man City against Wolves, Villa against Fulham, the final day of the Championship season as well, all across TalkSport and TalkSport 2. Here in the Champions League, a joy to watch really, this first near half an hour. Barcelona 1, Inter Milan 2. It's far from done. Inigo Martinez fouled by Lautaro Martinez, who actually, ironically, has hardly had a touch in this game, despite scoring 7 in his last 5 Champions League appearances. Martinez and Martinez, head-to-head stop Inter.
Yeah. Well, Lautaro Martinez, I mean, being the selfish striker that he is, he'll want to score, but he'll have to do a job for his side tonight. I mean, the way Barca are playing, the character they showed of first conceding very, very early on 1-0 and then 2-0, could easily have just been stung, but been on the front foot the whole time, but led by that 17-year-old Lamine Yamal. He is just incredible, and if they are able to keep this up, I can still see them going on and winning this game tonight.
Yamal raining infield from the right, he's played it square to the feet of De Jong. De Jong looks up from 40 yards out, pops it to the middle, Dani Olmo's been all the way, and he shoots, and it's straight at Sommer. Well, that was poor defending from Inter. Dani Olmo somehow squeezed beyond 3 in white, and they were lucky, the Italians, that the shot was easy for the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he found his way through 3 defenders, more by a little bit of luck than brilliant skill, and actually the wonderful left foot that he's got, he'll be disappointed he's hit that straight to Sommer. That was a great chance.
Jules Koundé looks down the right for Yamal, early low ball in, and Sommer with a brilliant piece of goalkeeping to touch it away, diving along the edge of the 6-yard line to kind of push it clear of Rafinha and Ferran Torres, but what a tantalising cross that was from Yamal.
Do you know what, Joe? It's one thing to have the incredible talent that he's got and the twinkle toes. It's another thing to have the pace that he's got. But to have that football intelligence where he knows he's just got to take a touch and whip it across immediately, not show his skill there. Brilliant.
Pedri, long way out, thought about a shot, goes square instead to De Jong. They are camped inside their own penalty area here, Inter, and even though they've got so many behind the ball, Barcelona look capable of unlocking them again. And the ball is out in the wing-back position with Bissek, who's had to go backwards and all the way back in the end to Jan Sommer, the goalkeeper. Blackpool 0, Birmingham 1 is a half-time score in League One. Pedri wins it back for Barcelona, drives down the inside left, he's got support on the corner of the penalty area, dinked it towards Rafinha, but gathered easily by Sommer. And what do you do if you're Inter Milan at the moment, Scott Minto, because they are absolutely under siege. Somehow they're in front 2-1.
Well, I love watching this kid play. It's a wonderful cross that he just put in. There's a part of me that just doesn't want him to have the ball because my voice is going to go over the whole 90 minutes. Honestly, he is just sensational to watch, and you can't help but get off your feet and just almost applaud him and the way he's playing. It's incredible. What do they have to do? They have to go back to what they were doing in the first 10 or so minutes. You know, make sure, double up, treble up on him. He's the danger player for sure. But if they can somehow just keep the ball a little bit themselves, and by that they might have to sort of beat the press and dink it forward, the front two. Said about how there's not many teams that play with two up front. They have to try and hold the ball up a little bit more, even if they win free kicks, and just stop this Barca intensity.
Here comes Rafinha, right corner of the penalty area. Di Marco with help from Bastoni, tracking back to scoop it up to Mkhitaryan, who flicks it further clear, well held up by Thuram, and an excellent run by Barella, darting down the middle. Only forgot to take the ball with him with his final touch. I think he was trying to play it on towards Lautaro Martinez, but he sort of kicked the ground, and Barcelona win it back straight away. There's another player with such great talent and technical ability on the ball, Nicolo Barella. 2-1 down Barcelona. Here comes Yamal again. You just can't take your eyes off the skill that he possesses. Back infield to De Jong with the long-sleeved dark red and dark blue shirt of Barcelona, the hard shirts. De Jong sweeping ball to the right. Yamal again, we're in the 33rd minute. Left-footed cross is a great one, and it's just over the head of the on-rushing Dani Olmo, and behind for a goal kick, and Hansi Flick turns away in frustration. It's yet another absolutely delightful cross.
Well, it was an amazing cross, and another one that Lewandowski would have read the situation perhaps. I think Ferran Torres, he's just kind of stopped, and as it goes over Dani Olmo, two defenders of Inter have tried to go with him with that run, and if it just peeled out the back there, Ferran Torres, he would have been absolutely free, 6 yards out, with a header to make it 2-2.
That's a throw on the far side in the right wing back position for Inter, and they are trying to delay with every opportunity that they get, and the referee's already had a couple of looks at the watch, and he's going to get the throw away of Barcelona now. And Simone Inzaghi stands on the near side touchline, and Bisek, the man who was penalised, and Barcelona have the ball back with De Jong on the halfway line, and there's no way out for Inter at the moment, but they do have the 2-1 lead. Yamal taking on Di Marco, goes on the outside this time, always looking to shuffle back in as he crosses right-footed, palmed away by Sommer, not convincingly, then Bastoni got a touch to it, smuggled away by Çalhanoğlu via deflection. There's an Inter throw in the left-back position, but you can't see this staying 2-1 to Inter, can you?
He's just brilliant. He had two players on him again. He shaped across, but then gone down the outside, so he's taken Mkhitaryan out the way. And then Di Marco, by him doing that as well, has stepped back, so he's able to get that cross in. Someone's got to get across the near post. And if they do, again, it's 2-2.
Both these sides were involved in thrilling quarter-finals, and the semi has been superb so far. Here is Koundé, right edge of the penalty area. Yamal back to Koundé. It's very crowded on the edge of that 18-yard box. In fact, nearly every Inter player is back inside it defending. Yamal delivers again left-footed, and this time Sommer is high up above the ground to take it out of the air, and Barella will bounce it long down the left-hand side, but way too much on that for Lautaro Martinez. Suddenly, no outlet for Inter Milan, and Inzaghi looks really concerned on the touchline as Barcelona just wave after wave of attacks at the moment, playing from left to right. Inter just trying to survive the 10 minutes until half-time.
Yeah, the intensity is so important that Barcelona keep this up, because even if it's 2-1 at half-time, this kind of ageing Inter side really struggling in the last 20 minutes, and that's where I think Barca can take advantage of them even more. But they have to keep this up and have to tire them out.
Di Marco's played the ball back to Henrik Mkhitaryan on the halfway line. Very high defensive line for Barcelona as Mkhitaryan rolled it back to Bastoni, who's giving it away. Straight to Rafinha, early ball down the middle. Ferran Torres into the area, shot blocked, comes out to Yamal, lays it off to Daniel. Great save to his left by Sommer to palm it behind. It was very nearly 2-2.
My goodness me, what a game. We just saw how Inter, such a high line from Barca, just play it in behind. And that's what Bastoni actually, when the ball eventually came to him. Who's made the tackle of him? Lamine Yamal. Suddenly Barca are on the counter. Inter's worst nightmare. It's a really good shot from Olmo. Brilliant save from Sommer.
Here comes Rafinha's in-swinging delivery, left-footed. Sommer might have yet more work to do. 9 minutes of the first half to go, whipped in by Rafinha, and a thumping header away at the near post by Thuram, back defending. Further cleared by Bissek up towards the lip of the centre circle, and now the ball's dropped for Mkhitaryan with the black boots on. He's managed to steer it wide to Di Marco, blocked off by Koundé. Barca threatening to win it back straight away, and they do so again. 2-1 down Barcelona, somehow, to Inter Milan in the Champions League, live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a big move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, they've got a van. Out on the inside left for Barcelona is Martinez. And Martin, the fullback, playing as a winger. Rafinha tucking into a central position with Barcelona on the ball. Again, camped inside the Inter half. Pedri's delivery right-footed. Rafinha's pulled away to nod it down. Ferran Torres taps it in for 2-2. Brilliant goal, and Barcelona deserve it. They've come back already in what is turning into a classic Champions League semi-final. Just 38 minutes into the first leg. It had been coming, and Ferran Torres, at the third time of asking, finally takes his opportunity. And Barcelona are level even before half-time. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2.
Yeah, it's a wonderful ball from Pedri to the far post. Just dinking it there in behind Bissek. Rafinha, a lovely header down, and then it's who wants it more. Always will favour the forward if he sniffs it out, and he did just that, Ferran Torres. A simple goal for him, but he has to read the situation. You just touched on it there. This is beginning to be an absolute classic. In a game and a tie where there's so much on it. Okay, yes, it's the first leg, but you don't often see first legs like this. So open, just brilliant football. I still keep saying it now after each goal goes in. There's more to come.
2-2 live on TalkSport, and Barcelona far from finished yet. They've come from 2-0 down, and remember they conceded in the first minute, and we're not even yet at half-time. Inter look desperate for the half-time whistle. An extraordinary Champions League semi-final first leg so far. Can it carry on like this?
Yes. Let's think positive.
Let's hope so.
Especially while this kid's on the ball.
Yamal, infield from the right, back towards the lip of the centre circle, and the Barcelona fans making jubilant noise now at the Olympic Stadium. Interception by Barella in midfield. Back it goes to Çalhanoğlu. Even with all the experience in this Inter Milan team, they couldn't manage the 2-0 advantage that they've worked themselves into. And Barcelona have struck with 2 goals in the space of 13 minutes to level it up. Yamal wins the ball back and then wins a throw off Di Marco. Barcelona are going to score again before half-time at this rate.
Well, again, I talked about how it's really important to keep up this intensity. Most clubs around the world couldn't deal with it, but this is an ageing Inter side. This is one that has been looking tired physically in the last few games. A brilliant start from them, of course, but they will wear you down, this Barca side. And still another, even if they get to half-time at 2-2, which, to be fair, they'd have taken, level at half-time, they'd have taken, but they will be thinking, oh my goodness, we've got another 45 minutes to go.
TalkSport, the place to be for all the live football, including our 400th live commentary coming up for you tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. It is Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United in the first leg of that Europa League semi-final. Spurs against Bodo Glimt, live on the TalkSport app. Free and easy to download, and you can swipe between all our stations at your leisure. And Nottingham Forest have got a massive game in the Premier League at home to Brentford on TalkSport 2 tomorrow. That's at 7:30. Now, Koundé was being helped to his feet here The game has been stopped for a couple of minutes, which for Inter is probably just as well. 2-2 the score in the first half. So many talking points, but the young man who's really shone is Lamine Yamal. There's no question about it. Already at 17, there's no doubt he's a big game player. He turns up on these occasions.
Imagine if Hansi Flick had listened to Hugh.
What, and taking the risk, taking him off. Hugh, we'll have to give Hugh the chance to get back at you for that at half time, because he can't do it at the moment. But if you're just joining us, it looked as though Yamal was injured in the warm-up, and there was concern as to whether he'd be able to play. And some understandably might have said, why risk it? Barcelona going for the treble, or the quadruple if you count the Spanish Super Cup. Why risk him? Well, no, we've seen one.
I say that in jest, of course, because I did agree with Hugh, but I said, look, obviously the medics know more than we do, and you can't risk someone like him as much of a superstar, and that was Hugh's point, so he was absolutely spot on. So to see him come out, it must have been the slightest of tweaks. My goodness, if he's not 100%, this performance is outrageous, really.
Well, they've had to make a change here, Barcelona, enforced. Eric Garcia, formerly of Manchester City, you might remember, has taken to the field, and Jules Koundé has been forced off injured. Free kick to Barcelona, middle of the Inter half, left of centre, taken short by Dani Olmo. Rafinha with a long-range effort, and that's deflected over the top via the right boot of Lautaro Martinez. And it's a corner to Barcelona, who were 2-0 down. They've levelled it up at 2-2, and they have been absolutely dominant and are seeking to turn around the first leg before even half-time. Rafinha's corner taken short to Yamal, edge of the penalty area, and Yamal's cross is turned away at the near post. It's come back out to Pedri, middle of the Inter half. He's pushed it forward 10 yards to Lamine Yamal, who wriggles away from Çalhanoğlu, picks up Ferran Torres in the area, back to Lamine Yamal, who can't get it under control this time, and it's cleared away upfield by Mkhitaryan. Inter are on the break. It is mesmeric, it is Messi-like, dare I say it, the dancing footwork, the speed of thought, and the technique that very few top defenders in Europe can live with, and there are some top defenders in this Inter team. 2-2. And Frenkie de Jong, the Dutchman, in possession. Yamal again, 5 yards infield from the right, and Di Marco must be sick of the sight of him already. Barca have actually put the ball out of play. Is there a head injury here for Lautaro Martinez? Holding his face, certainly. Not sure entirely what the problem is for the Argentine. And Simone Inzaghi out to the edge of the technical area. This is a concern for Inter, and he's fuming now, Inzaghi. He's still working out exactly why.
No, I don't know. He put his hands to his face. It might have been some kind of head injury, but still don't know what it is. We're looking at replays of him on the ball as he comes inside. I'm not sure if he does his ankle in any way, but did he put his hand to his hamstring?
No, I don't think it was a head injury of any kind, but he is being treated.
I wonder if he's just not been well, not quite 100% physically from an illness point of view almost, because there was certainly no injury there.
He jogs back on, 2-2, last 40 seconds of normal time at the end of a remarkable first half. Pedri for Barcelona, middle of the Inter half yet again. It has been wave after wave of Barcelona attacks. Opportunity now for Dani Olmo to flick in a high cross to the back post. Rafinha racing to meet it. He's kept it in play. Close to the corner flag. Rolls it back now to Pedri. Pedri crossfield, left to right. Yamal's control is excellent. Right edge of the penalty area with two defenders backing off him, Di Marco and Mkhitaryan. Yamal rolls it back about 20 yards to Kubasi. He's just enjoying it out there, Yamal. No pressure whatsoever. Martinez lets it run across his body. Gerard Martin with the cross, and it's turned away by Barella at the near post. Into 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2. Yamal has been blocked off by Mkhitaryan. You're with the Champions League live on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles your business needs with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. Foul this time on Yamal, who goes down as if hurt, and a free kick to Barcelona. 90 seconds of this first half remaining, and, well, nobody wants it to end. Maybe apart from the Inter defenders.
Absolutely, I know one defender in particular who would want it to end. Didn't think that was a foul there, by the way. I thought that Yamal just kind of slipped as he was running with it, but Di Marco will be going in and saying, Gaffer, help me out here, I need 3 players on him.
Still Man United nil, Chelsea nil. Chelsea heading for the point they need to win the WSL title after Arsenal were beaten 5-2 at Aston Villa earlier on. Blackpool nil, Birmingham 1, and Mansfield 3, Peterborough nil, the latest scores in League One. 2-2 here in the first leg of the semi-final. This could rack up a record aggregate score potentially, who knows. Eric Garcia on as a sub for Barcelona, back to Kubasi, only 18, on the halfway line, and he'll roll it back even further to Szczesny, who is standing all in green. Szczesny plays the ball to Martinez, and now Gerard Martin. Last 25 seconds or so of the first half to go, and maybe the game just settling down in these final moments, with both teams aware that the break is nearly upon them. Martin will go back to Inigo Martinez, who will ping the diagonal ball crossfield, left to right, and Eric Garcia watched the ball drop onto his foot, and the referee blows the half-time whistle. And of course the ball should end the half at the feet of Lamine Yamal, so key to that Barcelona comeback. So much to talk about after arguably the most exciting 45 minutes of Champions League football we've seen, even in this thrilling season so far. Inter in front after just over 30 seconds through Marcus Thuram. They doubled the lead through Denzel Dumfries' volley in what was really their second serious attack. But Yamal's weaving run and curling finish, a thing of beauty to get Barcelona quickly back into the game. Ferran Torres with a tap-in to then make the half-time score. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2.
A mesmerising, intoxicating evening in football inside the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona. It is exactly what the latter stages of the European Cup is all about. Captivating, addictive. That feeling of being on holiday and just laying in the ocean, let it wash over you. It is just sensational. I could stay in this football match forever. And we're only a quarter of the way through the tie as well. Scott Minto, it feels like an age ago, but what an incredible start from Inter Milan. Less than 40 minutes on the clock. Marcus Thuram scoring against the team that his father Lilian ended his career with. It was a lovely back-heeled finish. There was a slip from the Barca defender Inigo Martinez. Maybe that was key, but it showed you the intent of Inter Milan coming away from home in the semi-final from the off.
Hugh, can I join you in the ocean with letting the waves?
You can, my friend. There's a pina colada waiting for you.
Oh, mate, you got me. Honestly, I mean, first and foremost, one absolute honour and pleasure to be commentating on a game like this. One so deep into this competition, this beautiful competition, but to watch the performance of both teams, really. You've got to give lots of credit to Inter for the way they started and how clinical they were. But the way Barca came back, and in particular, Lamine Yamal. But you're right, with less than 40 seconds on the clock, and it was brilliant play. Inter, the first time they got forward, they sort of beat the high line. They were able to get the cross in. There was a slip, but we talked about Thuram and the quality player that he is, and he showed his technical ability there. It stunned the crowd for sure, but and actually, obviously they went 2-0 up, but still, Barcelona never stopped with their intensity or belief.
Well, that's the thing, in between the first and second goal for Inter Milan, there were chances. Ferran Torres whipped the ball past the post on 2 occasions, and you wondered if it was going to be another example of, listen, it's the latter stages of the Champions League. You have to take your chances. You don't know when they're going to come once again, and he must have felt that way when he saw a brilliant second for Inter Milan volleyed in from defender Denzel Dumfries. At that stage, we're thinking, wow, Inter Milan are on their way for an incredible result, and almost thinking that they've got one foot in the final if they can hold on to it and take it back to the San Siro. I asked you before the game, though, why risk him? If he's feeling a little bit tight in the groin, why risk Lamine Yamal? I think we got our answer, though, didn't we, Scott? It was a wonder goal from the 17-year-old. We've witnessed the birth of a footballing great over the past 2 seasons, I think. It's the performance tonight of a superstar. And most importantly for me, I think, Scott, he made the choice I'm going to carry this team. I'm going to be the difference. That is signs of a superstar. That's the sign of a player that could go down. And I hate to say it so early in his career, but when you can choose to turn a match of this magnitude on its head, just like he did in the Euro semi-final with a wonder goal for Spain, then you do have all the hallmarks of a great.
Hugh, I couldn't agree more. And I'm sort of loath to say to about a 17-year-old that, you are going to be a great. But he's already done enough in the game. And I don't mean this game, I just mean in football, to show that he absolutely has the talent, has the mentality. I mean, what I would say is once you get to a certain age, maybe you believe a little bit more in your own hype, and we'll have to see how he deals with that when he does start thinking about the game, because at the moment he's doing it on feel. He is still in the playground with his mates, and it's men against boys, but it's actually the boy who looks as if he's on a different level. It's just, honestly, Hugh, I'm looking at it and I'm feeling sorry for DeMarco. I've been in that position. There's not a lot more he can do. Sometimes he was doubled up, he was tripled up, and yet he was still finding a way.
The goal that he scored, Scott, the goal that Lamine Yamal scored, there are 5 players surrounding him within 5 yards of the ball when he shoots. From a defensive tactical perspective, there is not much more that Simone Inzaghi could do unless he man-marks him with 4 or 5. And that, of course, would leave space for others. If you want to defend in any kind of semblance of a natural order, he's going to hurt you. And that's a difficult place for Inzaghi to be in tactically.
Hugh, they're trying to man-to-man. They're trying to get 2-on-1. They're trying to do 3-on-1. In that goal, they're trying to do 5-on-1. They can't stop him. And again, I go back to not just his skill or his pace or his technique. It's the football intelligence about when to deliver, when to try and take on your fullback or 2 or 3 people that are on you, when to just get half a yard and cross the ball, when to cross early, but also in the goal as well. I mean, I'm watching right now a replay of the goal. He's picked up the ball. He's turned, he's run with it. He's gone inside. It's almost as if no one wants to get close, but by the time he's run into the box, he's actually going where all the inter-defenders are. And yet they still are not able to stop the shot. And Yann Sommer had no chance whatsoever in stopping that goal. I'm holding myself back. I covered Spanish football for 4 years, Hugh. I watched every single Barcelona game in the league and the Copa del Rey. And to witness, Lionel Messi from afar was just, I think, along with Diego Maradona, he's the best player this planet has ever produced. So I'm holding myself back here, but all I'm saying is this is what Lionel Messi was doing at this age. Now, can he do it for the next 10, 15 years? We'll have to wait and see. But we are witnessing a genius.
Absolutely, we are. Just very quickly, Scott, it has been open, maybe far too open for both sides at times. Which manager do you think will be content with that? What will they both be trying to do to make this game a little bit more rigid for their players? There's been a bit too much freedom out there.
It's the way Hansi Flick has got his Barcelona side. It's press high, it's get your defence extremely high, and they trust themselves. If they can condense the pitch, they trust themselves that technically they're better than any side in the world. It's Inter and Inzaghi who need to try and get somehow the control of this game. But honestly, it's not just Lamine Yamal, but it's the midfield as well. If any way that Inter can get hold of the ball and just try and beat the offside trap, the high line, call it what you want, get those ball in behind. The front two need to hold the ball up a little bit better, because defensively there's not a lot they can do, despite them dropping back at times and being 11 behind the ball. Barca are so good, they're able to just play intensity, move them around, and then give the ball to Yamal and say, go and do something special.
Big 45 minutes on the way. Can't believe we're only a quarter of the way through this tie. It has already been one to remember. You're listening to the Champions League live on TalkSport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent from the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles your business needs with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. It's been an incredible half of football. The home side trailed by 2. It is now level at the break. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2.
Why let only one family member enjoy Rogers 5G when you can get everyone on the same great network?
Gather round, family. I have done it again.
Well, buckle up. Here we go. What now, Dad?
I got us all on a Rogers 5G plan. More 5G for everyone.
So I only have to pay one bill? Way to go, Dad. Unexpected W.
Get more lines on Rogers 5G and bring the whole family together on one bill. See Rogers.com/plans for details. Rogers, we got you.
Your favorite podcasts are a bit like close friends. They get you through long commutes, tough workouts, and more. And TuneIn has your favorite shows right on deck. Whether you love cracking mysteries with true crime pods or catching up on news and sports with daily recap shows, it's all here. Or find some new faves with top shows like The Daily.
This is The Daily. Today, and called Chuck Schumer a loser. Now, he's striking
the stuff you should know.
I'm good. I'm thrilled about this one, man. I love like mysteries, especially like real life mysteries and true crime, although this isn't necessarily crime.
Yeah.
And to run across one that's like
Pod Save America.
Welcome to Pod Save America. I'm John Favreau.
I'm Alyssa Mastromonaco.
I'm John Lovett. I'm Dan Pfeiffer.
Also joining us here tonight, Michigan State Senator Mallory McMorrow.
And more. Hear it here on TuneIn.
Hot Mics with Billy Bush, streaming on TuneIn. Your one-stop shop for sports, politics, entertainment, tech, pop culture. Hosted by yours truly. Unabashed, unafraid, on any device, anytime. On the go? Catch the show on the TuneIn app. At home and want to listen on your connected device? Just say, play Hot Mics on TuneIn. Listen on demand with the Hot Mics with Billy Bush podcast. Available whenever you want. Hot Mics with Billy Bush is brought to you by LA Golf. Upgrade your game and take your experience to the next level at LAGolf.com.
Marconi invented radio, and God gave you ears.
And he scored! It's a brilliant goal!
The Champions League, live on Talk Sport.
A brilliant half of football at Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2 at half-time in the Champions League semi-final first leg here on TalkSport. Inter had a 2-goal lead thanks to Thuram and Dumfries, but Lamine Yamal, this 17-year-old, has really come to the fore. He curled in a beautiful equaliser before Ferran Torres tapped in the equaliser. The second half coming up for you very shortly here on TalkSport. Before then, let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5+ acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18+ gambleaware.org.
So from 2 goals down, Barcelona are now 6-4 on to win the game. Inter are 11-2. The draw 21-10. Just about anything can happen after the break. Those are the latest odds with Ladbrokes. It's 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Odds update on TalkSport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
After Arsenal's 5-2 defeat at Aston Villa earlier, Chelsea need just 1 point to secure a 6th straight Women's Super League title. They're approaching half-time at Lee Sports Village. TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
Yeah, first half added time here. Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0. If it stays like this, then Chelsea will be champions. United will go above Arsenal into second with a win and also secure Champions League football next season after that incredible result earlier with the Gunners getting thrashed at Villa. United have had the clearest chances. Melvin Mallard preferred to Liz Turland up front. Brought out a smart save from England keeper Hannah Hampton. The rebound fell to Grace Clinton 6 yards out. Naomi Girma, the world's most expensive player, chucked her body on the line to block. There was also a double save from Hampton in quick succession. The first from Mallard and then a push over the bar from Clinton. At the other end, Myra Ramirez shrugged off Millie Turner and from a tight angle denied low down by Fallon Tullis-Joyce, the American keeper, pushing it around the post. Niamh Charles was also scooped over as a corner came in. Ramirez has gone off for Chelsea with an injury. It looked more precautionary than anything else, but the player didn't look too happy with the challenge that she'd had, and she had to be substituted with Ritting Carnarid coming on to replace him. The referee replaced her. The referee is just about to blow the whistle for half-time at Lee Sports Village. It's Manchester United 0, Chelsea 0.
Action in League One tonight as well. Birmingham City looking to go to 108 points, and they're well on the way to doing so. At the hour mark, they lead Blackpool by 2-0. Mansfield 4-1 up on Peterborough. Both sides safe in League One. They would move level, the Stags, on points with Peterborough if they can hold on for the win. In the National League South playoffs, it's Worthing 0, Maidstone 0, and Chester 1, Buxton 1 in the National League North. playoffs. Let's very quickly look ahead to the second half as the players emerge. Looks like there could be a change coming for Barcelona as well. Scott Minto, Chelsea FA Cup winner. What are you hoping, what are you expecting to see in this second half? Will the incredible nature of the first 45 minutes continue?
And well, just before we get to Scott, Hugh, let me confirm that half-time change that's been made by Barcelona. Gerard Martin has left the field, and Ronald Araujo is the player who has taken to the pitch. And so Barcelona have given him the captain's armband, and they're about to get this second half off and underway. And there's going to be an interchange as well, looking at it. Mehdi Taremi is stripped and ready to go, and he's going to replace Lautaro Martinez. Now that really does feel significant, because Martinez looked to be struggling with a potential injury towards the end of that first period, and now he has had to go off, replaced by the Iranian Taremi at half-time. So it is 2-2 and a change for either side. And that second half is now off and underway. Barcelona from right to left in the dark blue and dark red, with Inter Milan all in white. Barca playing from right to left, Inter from left to right. And Scott, to sort of follow up from Hugh's point, if we get anything like the quality of first half that we did here in the second, we're going to be in for something special. But can these two sets of players, however talented they are, continue to maintain that?
Well, it's down to Barca to do that. You know, Barca need to keep up the intensity as much as possible. And look, they certainly will try to do that. 2-2, you still feel as much as Inter really have been outplayed in that first half completely, but they would have taken 2-2 all day long. So it is down to Barcelona to try and keep up that intensity. Inter want to have a little bit more control of the game. But certainly from a neutral point of view, I want same again, please.
Foul by Araujo straight away, having just taken to the field, and a free kick to Inter, which is about midway inside the Barcelona half, away to the right of the halfway line as we look at it. And the Olympic Stadium is all lit up now, and a big blow for Inter, losing Lautaro Martinez to what you would think is an injury at half-time. Free kick dinked into the penalty area. Bisek trying to meet it at the back post. Out comes the Barcelona goalkeeper Szczesny. They have Garcia, Kubasi, Martinez, and now Araujo at the back. De Jong, Dani Olmo and Pedri in midfield. The outstanding Yamal and Ferran Torres, the two goal scorers in support of Rafinha. Inter, Sommer in goal. Bisek, Acerbi and Bastoni. Dumfries and Di Marco. Barella, Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan behind Taremi and Thuram up front. Inter were one up inside 35 seconds, two up after 21 minutes, but Barcelona making it 2-2 deservedly before half-time. And we have a spectacular rest of this Champions League semi-final to look forward to, no doubt about that, as Barca come forward out on the left with Inigo Martinez. Back now to Pedri. They slow the game down, and the pattern of play seems set once again for the second half. Barcelona dominance of possession and territory. Inter sitting back and looking to hit them on the counter-attack.
Well, I needed to sit down in the quiet corner just to get my breath back. I don't know what Federico Di Marco would be thinking, as well as the other Inter players.
Is that one of the toughest tasks in world football at the moment, going one-on-one with Yamal?
Do you know what? I don't think there's a tougher task. I'm trying to think, certainly in terms of... Look, we saw last night, and I'm a massive fan of Bukayo Saka. I mean, to be fair, he's come up against arguably the best left-back in the world right now in Nuno Mendes, but, you know, what we wanted to see was Saka sort of really go at him.
Went back up the pitch again here, Barcelona. Yamal on the edge of the D. Look for Rafinha, but the pass was overhit. Sorry, Scott, Barcelona. Every time they get it, they look like they can score.
He's rubbish, Yamal. Take him off.
That was a bad ball, wasn't it?
He overhit it a little bit, but this time coming inside, yeah, just overplayed it a bit. But yeah, look, you know, I liken it to last night in a way. Arsenal went one down and still PSG kind of dominated. Look, not for the whole 90 minutes, but even when Barca went 1-0 down and then 2-0 down, it was all them really in terms of intensity. And yes, brilliance, of course, from Lamine Yamal, but I think Barcelona just generally were able to play in a way that Arsenal couldn't. And now it's down to them to keep doing it, and I think half-time absolutely came for Inter at the perfect time.
The score is 2-2 for the right to meet either Arsenal or PSG in the final of the Champions League at the end of May. Inter now sweeping the ball to the right, and Denzel Dumfries, who scored their second goal, quickly forward to the underlapping defender. Bissek with a low ball in. It's going to reach DiMarco. He's hammered it over at the back post. Everybody missed it, but Federico DiMarco, yes, it's on his weaker right side, but he's got to hit the target, and Simone Inzaghi, the Inter head coach, head in hands, knows it.
I'll tell you what, first of all, I mean, it's Bissek, the right-sided centre-half, acting like a right winger. And then, look, I want to be in the left-back union, but as a left-back on his right foot, having a first-time shot.
Here is Mkhitaryan on the edge of the D. Inter still coming forward. It's smuggled upfield by Araujo. Plucked out of the air by Yamal, albeit he's miscontrolled it this time. DiMarco again out on the left, touches it forward, a glancing blow towards Taremi. Not enough on it to reach him, and Barcelona go back to goalkeeper Wojciech Szczesny. Well, it's not unlike Inter to come forward with the underlapping centre-halves, Bastoni and Bissek on either side. 2-2, 5 minutes into the second half on Talk Sport, and it does look as though the Italians have reset somewhat after that chaotic first period.
Yes, I'd agree with that. As I say, half-time came at the perfect time, and Barca haven't quite been able to start with that intensity that even though they went a goal behind after 31 seconds, that they did start the first half with.
Both teams in tantalising domestic title races as Inter look for DiMarco again, cleared away though by Kubasi to find Yamal just shy of halfway. He's given it straight to Çalhanoğlu, and then a miscontrol by Barella. There's a throw for Inter Milan anyway on that far side of the field as we look at it down there, left hand side. Inter 3 points behind Napoli in Serie A, Barca 4 points ahead of Real Madrid in La Liga. They've still got to play Carlo Ancelotti's side here at the Estadi Olympique Luis Companys, to give it its full name before the end of the season. Over the top by Dumfries. Oh, Thuram is onside. Out came Szczesny. Good early decision to head it away. The offside flag belatedly goes up anyway in favour of the former Roma and Juve goalkeeper and against Thuram, although again we've got replays in our commentary position. Didn't look offside to me.
He's not offside. If that had led to a goal, I'm pretty sure VAR or the semi-automated would have made sure that would have shown that he was onside.
And now it's really intriguingly poised again. 03717 223344. Once we're done tonight, have your say on the sports bar with Jamie O'Hara and Jason Cundy. The boys taking your calls from 10. Looking forward to that as ever on the way home. Yamal for Barcelona will play it back to Frenkie de Jong. Now Pedri about 35 yards out, dead centre. Sea of white shirts in front of him. Goes to the right and Garcia. Now Yamal. What can he do from the right corner of the penalty area? Again, they're tripling up on him, as we said in the first half. Rafinha, left of the edge of the D, works it wide on the angle to Martinez, who pulls it back and scooped up into the air by Mkhitaryan. Not quite as fluid and free-flowing in the second half so far, Barcelona. It is 2-2 in the Champions League on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Making a big move or planning a clear out with vans of all shapes and sizes. If you've got a plan, they've got a van. Europa League action with us tomorrow night. Our 400th live commentary of the season will be Manchester United's trip to Athletic Bilbao in that first leg. Tottenham against Bodo Glimt live on the app. Forest against Brentford in the Premier League on Talk Sport 2. So make sure you download our app. That way you can be across all three of our commentary matches tomorrow night, and of course watch live shows from across our network. Here is Rafinha deep inside into territory, back to Pedri, whips the ball to the left-hand channel, and Inigo Martinez has found himself in space to deliver a high cross, headed away by Bastoni towards the edge of the D. Only half cleared by Taremi, but there was a handball in there, I think, by Dani Olmo. No, the referees let play continue. Maybe there was a handball by Taremi instead, and he's played an advantage. Barca have it back from right to left, and now everybody's inside the Inter half. Barca goalkeeper Szczesny, who's not actually had anything to do but picked the ball out of the back of his net twice. And we're 8 minutes into the second half. 2-2. Let's get the thoughts of Scott Minter.
Yeah, he wants to just come out there, doesn't he, and get involved in the game, which is what he did. But Barcelona are more than happy to just play. And I mean, there's a lot of teams who would find it difficult to break teams down when they're almost just playing in one half. But Barca don't mind that at all. They believe they've got the technique if they make it into small spaces. They do have to just be careful of that ball over the top. But at the moment, Inter aren't able to get hold of the ball and play that ball over the top to make Barca look vulnerable.
Barca fans belting out the club's anthem all around the ground. About 55,000 the capacity here. Fouled by Di Marco out on the left-hand side. Free kick to Barcelona. Midway into opposition territory. Pedri, the man who was caught, and they've taken it quickly and found Yamal in the box. Low ball in, cleared away by Cherby on the stretch. Oh, and then hit on the volley by the on-rushing Pedri, who ran onto that at good pace but could only send the ball flying actually well wide in the end. The referee points to the near side touchline, and there's going to be a change at left wing back for Inter. So Di Marco's had a go, and now it's up for Carlos Augusto, who can also play as a left-sided centre-half, the Brazilian, to try and deal with the threat of Lamine Yamal. 10 minutes into the second half, Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2, and the Inter fans in the away section are sort of doing a slow reverse Poznan. Arms around each other's shoulders and just swaying as they watch their team. And it's Augusto for Di Marco. Pat on the back from Simone Inzaghi. He's going to need more than that, Scott.
Oh my goodness! You know when a sort of manager turns around to a player, and I reckon
Get ready.
I reckon he didn't want eye contact. You know, it's like you're coming on.
You're on.
Sorry.
You
Okay.
are on.
Good luck.
Let's see how he gets on. Barella in the centre circle for Inter. Early ball over the top, and Dumfries is raiding down the right. Out comes Szczesny again. Good starting position to clear. From the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2 in the first leg of the Champions League semi-final, in a game that's brought to you in partnership with TNT Sports, the home of European football. This weekend, Manchester City against Wolves, Aston Villa against Fulham, Leicester, Southampton, and the final day of the Championship season, all live across the network. Long throw into the penalty area towards Bisek, headed down to Mkhitaryan, edge of the box. Augusto's first touch, left-hand edge of the Barcelona penalty area, trying to whip it across, but he's blocked off by Eric Garcia. Has to prod the ball backwards to Bastoni, and now they're closer to the halfway line than the goal into Milan here. Crossfield ball by Çalhanoğlu, and the offside flag is up against maybe one or two in Inter white, and he's chopping up and down on the edge of the technical area. Inzaghi, as Barcelona get the free kick. 2-2 here in the WSL. Man United 0, Chelsea 0 at half-time. Chelsea only need a point to clinch the title after Arsenal lost 5-2 at Aston Villa earlier. And in League One latest scores, Blackpool 0, Birmingham 2, and Mansfield 4, Peterborough 1, both those games. And late on, they kicked off at 7:45. Here goes Yamal, poking it on to Dani Olmo, back to Yamal, right corner of the area, low curling shot, had nothing behind it, very tame, and straight at Sommer. You can see what he's trying to do all the time, though. 2-2 as we head towards the hour mark.
What's incredible, though, Joe, is that this is OK, Inter might not be playing at the highest of levels in this season or over the last two seasons, but it's still a well-organised outfit. It's a 3-5-2. That extra man in midfield, or certainly five across the midfield, and yet they're able to find ways of playing through the midfield to get Yamal on the ball or Dani Olmo on the ball. It's just incredible how they find pockets of space, despite there seemingly no space around.
Pedri's got the ball now for Barcelona, midway inside the Inter half, and Rafinha's picked up a pocket of space about 10 yards from the edge of the penalty area. He's gone back to Pedri. 5 flat behind the ball for Inter, and then effectively 5 in front of them, defending that 2-2 draw at the moment. Inter we're 2-0 up, but Barcelona pegging them back before half-time. Cagier affair in the second half at the moment. Nearly 58 minutes gone. Yamal right corner of the area, and he's dinked the ball in. That was an elegant pass with the outside of his foot, seemed nothing on, headed away bravely in the end by Cherby. Barcelona have to go backwards to Kubasi, but then he quickly turns and sends the ball forward again. Pedri trying to play vertically, caught by Çalhanoğlu. Now is that going to be a yellow card? Out of the pocket of the referee, and it's the first yellow card of the game.
Well, it's not really one he'd want to be getting a yellow card for, but at least he just slows the game down. And while it's still been all Barca really in this second half, apart from that one attack that Inter had, I think Inzaghi would be delighted the way the second half has gone so far. They haven't played with the intensity Barcelona, and they haven't created the the chances they did in the first half. Still a long way to go, of course. I definitely think half-time came at a great time for Inter.
They lost their last 3, remember, Inter, in all competitions. First time that's happened since 2017. Out on the right-hand side for Barcelona is the fullback Garcia. Now Araujo, blue boots on, back to Szczesny. A risky forward pass out of defence, but he finds Pedri, who pokes it back to Kubasi. Now Rafinha on the halfway line. They've started from the back, and now they'll go forward and try and hit the front here, Barcelona. Ferran Torres into the path of Dani Olmo. Now Yamal on the right corner of the 18-yard box, onto the left foot, back to Pedri, edge of the D. Couple of touches, flicks it into the path of Yamal again, surrounded by white shirts. Oh, but he might have picked a pass for Dani Olmo, and a loose back pass from Bastoni. Just got it back to Sommer before Ferran Torres could nip in front of it. We're in the 60th minute. Suddenly it feels like it's all Barcelona again. 2-2 the score, but you wonder for how much longer.
Yeah, the way again, in terms of, there's no space there. There's no way that he can get the ball to almost where he did. And yet it was more the run. Was it Pedri who was almost getting on the end of it? But somehow Yamal was able to play a ball around 3 players. Just a little dink, and that cross he did beforehand with it. It was a flick with the outside of his left foot. You know, no run up to it at all. He's just got everything in his locker.
Kubasi's just thundered over the top of Thuram. I don't think he's been yellow carded for it. Barcelona were not happy for a foul. Well, they thought a foul by Bastoni on Ferran Torres, but play continues nonetheless anyway. We have had over an hour on TalkSport. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2. Long ball over the top towards Nicolo Barella, and he could be in behind. He wants handball against Inigo Martinez. He just stopped there, Barella. Straight away, arms outstretched, looking at the referee, nothing given. He made no attempt to try and get to it, just turned and said handball, and the referee wasn't of the same view.
Well, we talked about how Yamal plays like he's playing in the playground. That's playground stuff, play to the whistle. You know, there's no whistle. And he had half a chance there of getting the ball out and having a shot on the edge of the box. I think it just goes to show psychologically where this Inter team are. They're trying to get a free kick rather than actually having the ability to perhaps go on and try and make an opportunity for yourself.
Here they come on the counter-attack though, raiding down the near side, the right. Thuram with the early ball, and Dumfries can cut it across goal. Took a big deflection off Araujo on its way behind, but wasn't actually far away from ending up in the back of the net with Szczesny wrong-footed. It's a corner, and Dumfries wanted handball against Araujo. No way was it handball.
It's come off his left foot. I think, and you saw a little bit earlier, it definitely came off Martinez's arm, but you play to the whistle, Barella. But that's where Inter what they need to do, trying to counter-attack quickly, and then if they can just whip it across before the Barcelona defenders, because of the high line, are able to get back in place. They may believe that they can go and get a third, let alone Barcelona.
8 European Cups between them, these two teams. They are of a certain vintage in this competition. Barcelona 2, Inter Milan 2. Over an hour gone in the first leg of the semi-final. There's a delay to the taking of the corner, Çalhanoğlu. The referee, Clément Turpin of France, very experienced European referee. Well, he's speaking to Barella, who I don't think was the man that he called over. And he's telling Dani Olmo to come across and saying, put your hands down, and now we'll have a conversation. No more.
We almost have this once every game, don't we, where a referee feels he has to tell them, and just say at the start of the game, I'll be watching, it's either a penalty or a free kick the other way.
Corner to Inter, hoisted in by Çalhanoğlu, and headed into the net! Inter are back in front. It's Denzel Dumfries again, his second of the match, and Inter have re-established their advantage as this thrilling semi-final takes another tryst. The header just looped over the top of Wojciech Szczesny, and again wild celebrations in the away section. Denzel Dumfries, who does have a good scoring record, rising highest in the 18-yard box. It might have taken a touch of Dani Olmo on its way through as well. Could have been a deflection on the header, but either way, Inter are back in front. It is Barcelona 2, Inter 3, and there was a touch via the head of Denzel Dumfries, deflected over Szczesny, and Inter in front again.
Oh look, the goal should go to Denzel Dumfries. I wonder whether, even though Dani Olmo looked like he was closest to him and should almost just be blocking him off, I wonder if it's come off the back of Araujo, giving Szczesny no chance at all. I mean, that's a poor goal to concede, isn't it? Straight from a corner. A ball to the far post, keeper doesn't come out. It's a header. And suddenly, I mean, I just said it, didn't I? You know, I wonder if Inter believe they can get a third. I'm not quite sure if they did 100% believe it, but they're back in front.
Barcelona having dominated for large periods, especially in the first half. Now they've won a corner. Dumfries has tucked the ball behind. There's an entire second leg still to come next Tuesday, and that will be remarkable. Who'd have thought Denzel Dumfries, of all people, who has, as we expected, been officially credited with the goal, would be on a hat-trick. Now it's a Barcelona corner, taken short by Dani Olmo. Yamal leaves it to the edge of the D, hammered into the net by Rafinha. Yet another touch of sheer quality and class. Left-footed, rifled into the net via the underside of the crossbar. Sommer might have got a touch, but it was way too hot to handle. And now Rafinha has had his say in what is truly a Champions League classic. Inter were not back ahead for long. It is 3-3. Rafinha with a thunderbolt hit the crossbar, hit the goalkeeper, and ends up in the back of the net. Might actually go down as an own goal, but what an incredible football match. 3-3.
Well, first of all, this is just ridiculous. I'm absolutely loving it. Again, we go back to playground stuff. I think they're going to play first to 6 or 7, aren't they, within these 90 minutes? The goals just keep on coming. It will go down as an own goal for sure. It did look one of those. I mean, it's a wonderful strike from Rafinha, but it's definitely hit the crossbar. It was coming out. It's hit the back of Jan Sommer's head and gone in. It will go down as an own goal, but again, really important from Barcelona's point of view that they scored straight after conceding. I'll say it again, it's 3-3 and we've got more to come.
This is just incredible. And as we expected again, it has gone down as a Sommer own goal because the ball hit the bar, hit the back of the goalkeeper and ended up in the back of the net. So the scores are level and Inter were ahead for 2 minutes. And UEFA are actually giving the goal to Rafinha, but we'll get
that will change.
A full confirmation, we think, most likely a Sommer own goal very shortly. They're going to make a change here, Barcelona. Fermin Lopez is going to take to the field, and we've still got a quarter of the first leg of the semi-final to go. Live on TalkSport, Scott Minter.
I don't want it to end. Can we have another 10-15 minutes at the end of this, please, referee? It's just been a wonderful game to watch. Look, Inter have played their part, but it's been all Barcelona. The way they've played, both individually, but as a team, and we've talked about Lamine Yamal, and he's just an outrageous talent. He's already world-class at 17. But this Barcelona side, the character they've shown from coming back from 2-0 down, and 3-2 as well, and you definitely think they believe they can go on and get the fourth. They probably need it, but then they also could probably easily go to the San Siro and win in a 90-minute game there.
Well, 6 goals they've shared, and it's not done yet. You will want to have your say on what has been an incredible first leg of the semi-final. On TalkSport from 10, 03717 223344 to speak to Jamie and Jason on the Sports Bar. And reaction from tomorrow morning will continue on TalkSport Breakfast from 6 a.m. Then, in the evening, we've got all the Europa League football. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United on TalkSport. Tottenham Bodo Glimt on the app. And in the Premier League, Forest against Brentford on TalkSport 2. It has gone down, as we thought, as a Sommer own goal. Wow.
I tell you what, big game for Spurs, big game for United, big game for Forest.
Well, hopefully they'll be as good as this. We can't guarantee it, but we can certainly hope.
I'm not sure.
Maybe a bit cagier and nervier than this.
Well, who knows? Again, let's be positive, but you know, this is not just a sort of a 3-3 debacle. This is just incredible football. Clinical finishing, you have to say, from Inter.
Pedri darting down the middle for Barcelona. He's nudged it into the path of Fermin Lopez. Yamal on the edge of the penalty area, trying to manoeuvre the ball onto that left foot, tries the back heel. Eric Garcia's low cross, tucked up and away by Bissek. High away from danger, only as far as Yamal though, who's won it back, and he's weaving his way down the right hand side again on the outside with a low ball in, cleared away by Acerbi. Now it's Rafinha on the edge of the D, sets up Fermin Lopez to dink it in right footed, headed up into the air by Bastoni. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3, given away. Fermin Lopez into the area, onto the right foot, low shot, no power behind it. Easy for Sommer this time, who was totally luckless in terms of that equalising goal. Rafinha's thunderbolt hit the bar and then in off Sommer. But it has been a vintage game, regardless even of the context, regardless of the fact that it's a Champions League semi-final. Is there going to be another goal in it? You would not be surprised. Free kick to Inter Milan on the halfway line, and the referee has produced a yellow card out of the pocket here, and he's pointing in the direction of Pau Kubasi for wrestling Mehdi Taremi to the ground. Here comes another change for Inter Milan, so it's Çalhanoğlu who's going off on a booking, and Davide Fratesi, who is in his second season at the club, will take to the field. He scored the winner in the first leg of the quarter-final against Bayern Munich, which I guess ultimately turned out to be the winner in the tie, because the second leg was drawn 2-2 at the San Siro. 3-3 in the first leg already tonight in the Champions League on Talk Sport with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. Rent for the best lineup in the UK. Enterprise has all the vehicles your business needs, with the flexibility to rent for minutes or months. Header away by Inigo Martinez for Barcelona, and brought down by Pedri inside the centre circle. He wriggled beyond the challenge of Fratesi. One back by Mkhitaryan, who's put Thuram through down the middle. Thuram is clearing the penalty area. Good block by Kubasi, sliding in to turn away the left-footed shot at the last moment. You'd have appreciated that as a former defender, Scott.
Yeah, brilliant tackle or block, but you know, they are vulnerable defensively. And the likes of Thuram, he found space there, didn't he? Kubasi's just diving in, hoping that he can block it, and he did, to be fair to him. But you know, there are opportunities against this Barcelona side, as good as they are going forward.
Where will the drama and the excitement end, with the second leg still to come next Tuesday? There's so much still to be decided. It feels like a game worthy of a Champions League final, as Inter win it back with Mkhitaryan. Early ball takes a deflection, and Thuram is looking to race down the middle again, and Szczesny is backpedaling. Thuram's been held up by Araujo. They wanted the offside flag, Barcelona, wasn't forthcoming. Martinez comes away with possession anyway and knocks it down the left wing position. Rafinha with the early cross to the back post, headed away not entirely convincingly by Augusto. It's come back to Rafinha down the near side, the left. The Brazilian plays it backwards to Martinez. You can't take your attention away from this game for one moment. 18 minutes left. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3. A spectacular semi-final. Martinez crosses to the back post. Fermin Lopez looked to pull away from his marker Bastoni, but the cross was overhit, and that is a throw to Inter down by their own corner flag.
Yeah, it was overhit. Just needed a little bit more height on it. Perhaps used a 5-iron rather than an 8-iron.
Hansi Flick in a conversation with one of his assistants on the near side touchline. We've got little monitors in our commentary position, just getting a look at the unfortunate own goal as it turned out from Sommer in the end, but it's all about Rafinha with the strike.
Yeah, look, it's a wonder strike. I'm not quite sure how UEFA even put it down. It's pretty obvious in the first go that it sort of came back and hit Sommer, but it's absolutely down to the strike. You know, one, first of all, having the confidence to strike it first time for 25 yards out at least, and two, the technique for it to be as close as it was. Yes, Jan Sommer unlucky.
Here they come again. Fermin Lopez, edge of the D. Rafinha from the angle with a low shot. It's blocked by Bissek. Desperation to the defending of both teams at times, and now Inter are on the break in a game where the tempo seems to be increasing as we head towards the end. 16 minutes plus added time to go. 3-3 And actually Inter are starting to look a threat on the break.
Yeah, but you're right. You know, the start of the second half, it wasn't quite the intensity of the first, but it's just starting to go up a gear now, isn't it? And Inter genuinely believe, you can see them, they're making runs off the ball, trying to go in behind. You know, Inzaghi knows that this is such a high line. That ball over the top, if the run is timed right, they can be in. So it's a fascinating game where, yes, you would think that if there was to be another goal, it would come from Barcelona, but don't rule out Inter here.
A fascinating watch too, no doubt, for Arsenal and PSG, who meet in the second leg next Wednesday on TalkSport. The ball is with Inter. On the halfway line is Bissek, outside right on a hat-trick. Denzel Dumfries with a great low cross into the penalty area, and it's turned in! But is the flag going to deny Mkhitaryan? It is! The flag is up on the near side touchline. Oh, it was very close. What a finish at the back post from Henrik Mkhitaryan. And it was so tight as the flag went up from Dumfries' cross. This is going to be close. VAR is going to check it. Inter thought they were 4-3 up.
Well, there were two players at the far post. First of all, again, you know, just said about that high line of Barcelona and Inter having the belief that they can score. And then a wonderful ball in from Dumfries. There were two Inter players at the far post, obviously Mkhitaryan being one of them. I'm not sure he was the one who was further forward. I think one was offside. We'll have to wait and see whether Mkhitaryan was or not.
VAR has checked the goal, and the decision is that the check is complete and that it will not stand. It remains 3-3. So no goal for Mkhitaryan.
The point is, though, Joe, yes, of course they would have loved that goal, but one, they have the belief that they can go on and get a fourth, and two, that wasn't through great defensive play from Barcelona playing offside. They got away with that one.
Incredibly high line, and Denzel Dumfries is bursting into the box again, and he can get the shot away, or he'll cut it back. He does, cleared away and then hit on the volley over by Barella. What a chance for Dumfries. He was on a hat-trick. Yes, on his weaker side, but it seemed to open up for him, and then when he tried to steer it square, eventually the move came to nothing. 3-3 on TalkSport.
Yeah, I wonder whether Bissek himself just before was in an offside position, which led to that. But as he's got into the box, yes, he's on his left foot, but just shoot. Go for the far post. Szczesny would struggle to get there. You're already inside the box. He's looking so dangerous now down this right-hand side for Inter, the left for Barcelona.
Either team could win this first leg. This is organised chaos in the best possible way.
And keep it coming, please.
13.5 plus added time to go. 3-3. Yamal inside right again onto the left foot edge of the penalty area. He went beyond two in white, and there was a lunging challenge by Barella, a dangerous one, close to the edge of the penalty area. Free kick to Barcelona in a really dangerous position.
Well, we're just looking at the semi-automated.
Mkhitaryan.
I mean, it's literally, it's a big toe. I mean, I've had an argument with Adrian Dyer enough, and I don't want him to start texting me now. I've said offside is offside, although there is a subjective offside. Yes, that's close, but at what point do you draw the line if you say that's too close? It's offside.
It's just an inch, isn't it? If that.
It's a big toe.
Couldn't be any closer, but it stays 3-3. And at the other end now, there's a free kick to Barcelona within absolute shooting range for either Rafinha, maybe Fermin Lopez. It is a couple of yards from the right edge of the box.
And how quick were the feet of Lamine Yamal there? I mean, he went past one, then the second, when it just wasn't on. Bought the foul, or got the foul. He was fouled. What a chance this is.
There's a real threat to Inter here, isn't there? 5 in white in the wall, one line behind them. Will it be Rafinha or Fermin Lopez? It's going to be the left foot of Rafinha, low, and Sommer is there to gather to his right. He went goalkeeper's side, and Sommer's handling solid enough.
Yeah, Sommer did well there. Very easy just to move over and not trust the wall, and then suddenly you've opened up a space. He stayed where he was. It wasn't the best of free kicks from Rafinha, but he kept it on target. And he's looking round the wall, Sommer, so he just stays where he is. In the end, it's a comfortable save because he trusted his wall.
Does 3-3 feel about right? I've no idea really at this point.
I'm not too sure. No, I think Barca have been the better side. I don't think anyone can deny that. But Inter have done a really good away performance.
More top European football coming tomorrow on TalkSport. Athletic Bilbao against Manchester United in the Europa League. Here come Inter Milan. Down the left is Taremi. Left wing position, but nobody in the middle. Tottenham against Bodo Glimt tomorrow will be on the app, and Forest against Brentford on TalkSport 2. Make sure you download our app to be across it. Mkhitaryan pokes the ball backwards for Inter, and he's given it away. Fermin Lopez can lead a Barcelona counter-attack. Yamal midway inside his own half. He's just taken two Inter players out of the game. Impudent skill, and then a crossfield ball that is intercepted just on the stretch by Bisek. And now Barella from the halfway line. Barcelona defending so high, out comes Szczesny, beats Dumfries to it. Playing like another centre-half, Szczesny. He has to, because their defending is so risky.
100%, he absolutely has to. But the skill of this kid, the confidence, the ability. I mean, these are if not world-class players, close to world-class players that he's playing against. Honestly, the way he's just moved that ball away with his little body shape and first touch, it just, again, I don't want to mention those two words, but it reminds me so much of a left-footed right side in the beginning anyway. Barcelona player, former Barcelona player.
Here come the two changes next up for Inter Milan, who are going to get Matteo Darmian onto the field. 35 now, Darmian, and Peter Zielinski as well. And very shortly anyway. It's Dumfries for Darmian. Maybe a slightly more defensive option. A standing ovation from the Inter fans who are watching on. 10 minutes to go, Sports Bar once we're done next here on TalkSport. Taking your calls after this amazing night of Champions League action. 03717 22 3344. And off goes Thuram to be replaced by Zielinski. So that feels a couple of more defensive-minded changes. A reminder of the latest scores elsewhere. In fact, full times in League One. Blackpool 0, Birmingham 2. So Birmingham have broken the EFL points record for a single season, now up to 108. And Mansfield have beaten Peterborough 4-2. Man United 0, Chelsea 0 in the WSL is a latest score. Chelsea only need a point to win the title. If they lose, it'll go to the weekend. That after Arsenal lost 5-2 at Aston Villa. So Inter have made their two changes. 9 to go, Scott Minto, plus added time, and we're level at 3-3.
Look, I mean, who am I to try to question Simeone Inzaghi? But I don't get it. I don't get those two substitutions. You know, Marcus Thuram's just had a shot that was blocked. He's still got that pace and power. Zielinski, okay, you can say, oh, all right, well, let's go with that one. But Denzel Dumfries was the one who was getting behind. Augusto raiding down the left with a looping cross. Fratesi, one of the substitutes, was in there, but no one else really in the change kit of Inter, the all-white, there to meet it. Barcelona look to clear. Inzaghi is so far over his technical area, he's nearly on the pitch as the ball goes out of play. And now Barcelona are going to make two changes. Gavi and Andreas Christensen, a former Champions League winner with Chelsea, stripped and ready to come on in blue and red. But they're not going to get the chance to make those changes yet. Inter have a throw on the halfway line. Darmian's first touch, and he's tried to smuggle it down the middle towards Taremi, but Martinez is there to roll it back to Szczesny. You're right, Scott, it does seem like Inter now, they've set up with one very lone frontman in Taremi, and they're inviting Barcelona onto them. Yeah, obviously he's trying now, Inzaghi, to keep to the 3-3 to take back to the San Siro, and that obviously would be brilliant. But honestly, you know, Denzel Dumfries looked Inter's most dangerous player of the last 10-15 minutes, the way he kept on bombing on and getting inside, whether it is actually looking like he could make an assist or perhaps even score himself. So look, who am I to have a go at Inzaghi, but Barcelona look vulnerable with Dumfries on the pitch. Christensen and Pedri come off. Gavi still only 20, and Christensen onto the field. Kubasi was on a yellow card. And for Andreas Christensen, just a second appearance of the season. First since the opening weekend. He's had a long time out with an Achilles injury. What a way to be thrust back into action. And he might have to come across here and send it back to Szczesny, which he does with good authority. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3 on TalkSport. We have got 7 minutes plus added time to go. Then you can have your say on the phone on the Sports Bar. 03717 22 3344. Live football
tomorrow night in the Europa League, and lots to come this weekend. Friday night, Manchester City against Wolves, and we've got Villa against Fulham. We've got the final day of the Championship season on TalkSport 2 on Saturday lunchtime as well. For all of the goals as they go in, as the playoff race, the title race and the relegation battle all comes together, all comes to a conclusion. Inigo Martinez for Barcelona finds a Rafinha 10 yards from the corner flag. Back to Inigo Martinez now, and De Jong, middle of the inter-half. Defending's gone out the window tonight, and I love that. Out on the right is Yamal. 3-3.
Inter are trying. They just come up against some world-class players.
And a bit of bad luck, I suppose, for the Barcelona goal to make it 3-3. But you couldn't begrudge Barcelona at least an equaliser.
No, they certainly don't deserve to lose this game.
Rafinha's delivery up towards the run of Garcia at the back post, and he's clattered into his marker, Augusto. That will be a free kick to Inter Milan inside their penalty area. Do they finally shut up shop now? It feels like that's what Inzaghi is thinking, but he's been such a nervy presence. Did say before the game they'll have to suffer at times. They have definitely done that tonight. And actually there's a delay as Augusto waits to get up to his feet. They were a toe away from scoring the winner, but Mkhitaryan's goal, or at least the goal that would have put them in front, ruled out after a VAR check by the tiniest of margins. And so we cannot separate the two. And 5 minutes left, and nobody is leaving Barcelona's Olympic Stadium yet. Big gap between the pitch and the stands, as is always the case at this sort of stadium. Zielinski turns on the halfway line, the number 7 for Inter. Got the run of Augusto just ahead of him, can't find him. Garcia slides in. Barcelona have it with Araujo, who hacks the ball high down the middle. Now Rafinha's chasing this, and he nearly got it in between the two defenders. Bisek eventually recovers and comes away with the ball, the 6'5" centre half. Trying to get forward on the overlap is Bisek. He's got through such a lot of work. Barcelona easily able to win it back. The two sides have shared 6 goals, and they're level at 3 apiece into the closing stages of a wonderful Champions League encounter. A lot was made of the match in terms of the top billing. It's more than surpassed expectations, though.
I didn't think it would be this good. I mean, you know, this is the Champions League semi-final, Barcelona against Inter Milan. That in itself is just a fascinating game, but I didn't think it would be this exciting with so much on it.
Breaking up the far side, the left-hand channel is Augusto, who reaches the halfway line. He's got De Jong tracking him back, and eventually it's out of play for a Barcelona throw in their right-back position. Inzaghi looks for the 4th official, but his appeals are a bit more muted this time. 3.5 minutes plus added time remaining. And so will either team find a winner to take to the San Siro next Tuesday? Ferran Torres into the penalty area now, sets up Yamal with a chip, and it's hit the bar! It seemed to hang in the air for an age, and then it dipped and came off the woodwork. That's the second time he's hit the bar tonight.
Well, it looked like he completely overhit that, didn't it? And yet even he can make a... Oh, he's got like a remote control of the ball. Unbelievable.
Here he is again on the right corner of the penalty area, onto the left foot, square to Gavi, edge of the box. Barcelona so close to making it 4-3, and they might yet still. Garcia back to Yamal, 5 yards from the edge of the box, left-footed, right of centre, plays it back to Christensen under great pressure every time he's got the ball, Yamal. They try to follow him in packs of 2s and 3s to Inter, but even then they still can't deal with him. He's hit a low shot that's been blocked. Now it's come out to De Jong, and Inter are hanging on a little again now. Just over 2 minutes plus added time to go. In an all-time classic. Martinez, back to Gavi. Gavi whips in the right-footed cross. Cleared away at the back post by Augusto. And now Inter are defending the 18-yard box again, with Barcelona raiding forward just as they did for much of the first half.
Yeah, look, it is defence versus attack now for sure. I just don't think Inigo Martinez being as a left wing back.
He's flicked it into the path of Gavi, though. That's a good ball in. Martinez slides it at the near post, back to goal. Rafinha chips in the cross, headed away. These are really nervy moments for Inter now. They can't get hold of the ball. 90 seconds of normal time left on TalkSport. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3. Now it's with a Yamal to dink it in left-footed with the outside of his boot, and it required an excellent volleyed clearance away by the sliding Darmian to knock it away from danger.
Even that ball was honestly just incredible. One, how he sees it, and two, how he very nearly executes it.
Frenkie de Jong a long way from goal, dinks it in high towards Rafinha, back post, flicked header cleared by Bissek and hammered away by Darmian. Inter will have done brilliantly if they get a draw out of this.
Yeah, they will have done, and I'll just go back to what I was saying about Inigo Martinez being he's acting like a left wing back. He's playing left back since Gerard Martinez come off. You know, he's a centre half playing now, and all he's going to do is get the ball and then just cross it in. And it's easy defending for Inter. I want to see Rafinha outside.
Again, right edge of the box is Yamal, goes on the outside towards the dead ball line this time. Augusto gets a tackle in last 40 seconds of normal time.
In the way that Lamine Yamal is staying out right, I'd like to see Rafinha do that as well, to really see if they can create something, come inside and maybe even have a shot or a dangerous cross. I'd be quite happy if I were an Inter player for Inigo Martinez to have it all day long out there. He's not going to hurt you.
It's all Barca right at the end of the game.
Famous last words.
Gavi to De Jong, forward of the centre circle. Inter are now camped inside their own half. Everybody behind the ball. Yamal again, right corner of the area, left-footed cross, header away by Bastoni. We're about to enter added time. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3. Feels like the second leg, feels like the final. It's only the end of the first leg and there are only 3 added minutes here on TalkSport.
Well, that's unfair.
Well, we'll get to the sports bar on time, I think, anyway. 03717 223344. It's coming next. De Jong, square to Rafinha. Goal here to win it. Long-range effort! Tipped over. Rising drive from Rafinha. Sommer got a glove on it to turn it over the bar.
Well, he's got such a great strike on him, as we saw with what ended up being an own goal for Sommer. He made sure he tipped that one over, didn't he? But 25 yards out, what a strike. And you know when someone strikes it well, when you see in slow motion the ball's kind of going backwards. Just a pure, sweet strike.
Good hand from Sommer, who's not the biggest of goalkeepers, to flick that over the top. It is a corner to Barcelona, nearly a minute through 3 added. And it's 3-3 in the first leg. Rafinha with the delivery in, swinging to the back post. Araujo was up, they can't clear it away into Eric Garcia, tried to reach it, hacked away by Bastoni. They are surviving here, Inter, and nothing more. Back in by Rafinha, Araujo jumping, it's missed him. Inigo Martinez across the face of goal and away by Darmian. Every single player has put everything into this game. Halfway through added time, into the back post by Fermin Lopez, and it's overhit. And it might now, with 90 seconds to go, stay 3-3 despite all our expectations, Scott Minto.
I wouldn't bet on it, mate. I wouldn't bet on it, the way this game's gone. No, but I think Inter have controlled the second half much better than they did the first. You know, and actually they've looked much more dangerous going forward as well, up until Denzel Dumfries got taken off. But clearly Inzaghi's wanting to hold out for 3-3, and I'm not surprised that we've had almost 30 seconds. Jan Sommer just taking this goal kick.
There's only a minute to go, and the ball has been hammered clear upfield by Sommer. The ball then plucked out of the air by Frenkie de Jong. Back it goes to Szczesny. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3 on TalkSport. And the second leg next week will be highly anticipated. 40 seconds to go. Inigo Martinez has found Fermin Lopez with his back to goal, but he's a long way from goal. Inzaghi's nearly straying into Hansi Flick's technical area. He just wants Inter to hang on for the last 30 seconds here at 3-3. That would be a brilliant score for them to take back to the San Siro, but we know that Barcelona can hurt them. We've seen it tonight, devastatingly with Yamal. 20 seconds left. He's trying to weave in field again. He's played it back to Rafinha. Half intercepted. Ferran Torres 35 yards out. Yamal trying to race down the middle. Bastoni back to Sommer. He will clear left-footed. The referee has looked at his watch and blows the full-time whistle. Champagne football in the Champions League. And the first leg ends 3-3. A vintage match. A classic. One that will be remembered for a long time. And how wonderfully poised is the second leg to come at the cauldron that is the San Siro next week. Muted reaction from the Barcelona fans, one almost of disappointment, They hit the woodwork twice over the course of an utterly enthralling game. Inter were 2-0 up after 21 minutes, a goal up inside 35 seconds through Marcus Thuram. Denzel Dumfries made it 2. Barca fought back in rapturous fashion. Yamal with a perler of a goal, and Ferran Torres made it 2-2. Then in the second half, a goal each. Dumfries heading into back in front from a corner, but an almost instant reply from Barcelona. Rafinha's thunderbolt hit the bar, hit Sommer, and went in for an own goal. Either team could have won it. Both sides wanted to win it, maybe up until the final stages when Inter tried to shut up shop. But either way, a game that will not be forgotten for a very long time. It is only half-time in the tie, full-time after the first leg. Barcelona 3, Inter Milan 3.
You can't ask for much more from a Champions League semi-final. End-to-end, big chances scored and missed. It had quality, class, desire and spirit, captivating from minute one, and the atmosphere was exactly what it should be as well. The good news is they'll do it all again at the San Siro next week, and it will be live on TalkSport. You can react to it 03717 22 3344. Let's head to Leigh Sports Village, where Chelsea could be sealing the WSL title tonight. TalkSport's Jeff Peters.
It's Manchester United 0, Chelsea 1. Chelsea have one hand on the title. It's a big player with a big moment. Lucy Bronze with a header from a corner from Baltimore. 16 minutes to play, and Chelsea not been at their best tonight, but they've got their noses in front, and they are around about 10 minutes away from securing yet another league title. It's Manchester United 0, Chelsea 1.
Earlier, Arsenal lost 5-2 at Aston Villa, which opened the door for Chelsea to seal the title tonight in League One. Birmingham City up to 108 points. They won 2-0 away